All right, so we're gonna get started on our backs. So if you wanna come on down to your back, feel free to keep your feet down on the ground with your knees up. You can take your feet a little wider and let your knees kind of land in together. And wiggle your feet around, make sure this feels comfortable. The point of this position is for your legs to be nice and comfortable. Give your lower back a little wiggle. Try and let the natural curve of your lower back come back. And then let your shoulders land on the ground. Bring your chin up to the ceiling. Try and have that natural curve of your neck. And then start to land in the room. Start to land on your mat. So the space of your mat can be like a little sacred space. As if we could shut out the rest of the world and just land on this space for this moment in time. Just kind of take in the space around you. Landing here in this moment, in this physical body, in this present moment in time. Starting to release all the things and worries, the things that float around in the forefront of our mind. It's starting to land right here. Land on your breath, just watching your breath. Perhaps even saying to yourself, I am breathing in and breathing out. And then trying to help us be even more grounded, perhaps taking a moment to say to yourself, right here in this moment, all of my needs are met. And we're going to practice 4 corners breath. So making your breath nice and slow, but not using a lot of muscular force with your breath. Bring your hands to your stomach. And you're going to watch your stomach rise and fall with your breath. So you're drawing your breath down into your lowest corners of your lungs. So breathing in nice and full. Breathing out nice and slow. Watching your stomach rise and fall with your breath. Bringing your breath and your focus all the way down to the lower corners of your lungs. And then bring your awareness to your ribcage, the sides of your ribcage. You can take your arms across and just kind of rest your hands there. You can let your arms just fall to the sides. You're going to imagine you're gently pushing your breath in between each rib. Breathing in fully into the side corners of your lungs. And then bring your awareness to the back of your lungs. So imagine you could just gently lift yourself up off the ground by filling up the back of your lungs. Nice and slow and gentle. And then finally bring your awareness to just underneath your collarbones and watch your collarbones rise and fall as you fill up the top corners of your lungs. And then let that go and just kind of notice how you're feeling. Perhaps repeating to yourself right here in this moment, all of my needs are met. And then gently bring your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a little hug and even rock it side to side. We're going to take our feet up in the air. You can leave a little bend in the knees. We're going to pull our feet, toes towards our shins, and then press the balls of our feet to the ceiling. Pulling down nice and slow, pressing up to the ceiling. Starting to move through the feet really slow and with intention. And then bring the toes towards the shins and take your feet in a circle. Nice, slow circle, as if you're trying to feel every point of the circle. Opening up your feet, your ankles. And then switch direction of the circle, nice and slow as you can go. Pull the toes down towards the shins. Spread the toes really wide. Stretch your toes. And then bend the knees, and we're going to take the lower legs in a nice slow circle. So you can hold on to the thighs just to remind them to be still. Take your lower legs in a nice slow circle, as if trying to feel every part of the circle. And then reverse the circle. Nice and slow. Slow it down, please. And then bring your feet about even with your knees. Pull your toes towards your shins. Press your hands into your thighs. And then press your legs into your hands. So press, press, press. You feel some lower core muscles start to fire up. Press. And let that go. Little hug, little rock. If you have a block or something to hold handy, you're going to take it in your hands and squeeze the block. Otherwise, you're just going to take your hands up to the ceiling and imagine you're squeezing a block. You're going to take your hands slowly up overhead and let them hover just above the ground. So now squeezing and holding your arms up, take the feet up towards the ceiling. And we're going to slowly take the feet down. Slow as you can go, engaging the core so stomach pulls tightly towards the spine. Tight, 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 tight. You start to feel your lower back doing the work. Pull your feet up a little more. We want our feet only as low as our stomach is doing all of the work. So hold it here. Starting to feel a little challenge. Now we're gonna open the feet nice and slow and then bring them back together. Open and back together, as slow as you can go. Now we're squeezing all the muscles in the leg, all the muscles in the arm, all the muscles in the stomach. Breathing nice and slow. If this is easy, you're not squeezing enough muscles. Bring them back to about hip width and then take little butterfly kicks up and down, still squeezing the stomach. Bringing the stomach tightly towards the spine. Breathe and hold. Breathe and challenge, sorry. And then bring the knees in. Let go of your block. Take a little breath to reset. We're going to do that same exercise a little bit differently. So grabbing your block again, give it a squeeze. Slowly take it up overhead. Arms are engaged, chest is engaged. Take the feet, this time we're going to start low. So take the feet as low as you can go with the stomach doing the work, not the lower back. So as low as you can go, maybe squish your chair out of the way. So low as you can go, squeeze the legs. Try Barbie feet. So Barbie feet, pushing the balls of your feet away from you and pulling the toes back. Make your legs even more active. Hold this. This should be challenging. And then butterfly kick. Nice and slow, up and down, sorry. Little paddles. Slow and controlled, using as many muscles as you can find. Squeeze the stomach a little more. And then bring the knees in. Lower your block. Give yourself a little hug to reset. Take your feet up towards the ceiling. Try and start to engage the legs. So squeeze the legs, maybe pull the toes down towards you. You can tuck your hands in underneath your hips. We're going to think about the very lower core. So we're going to squeeze and lift. So feet go to the ceiling. It's a tiny movement. Squeeze and lift up and down, nice and slow. Squeeze and lift up and down. So feet go to the ceiling. It's about an inch worth of movement. Really thinking about squeezing that lower core. Notice if you're pushing into your hands to try and achieve a little more height. Try and make this all in the lower stomach. And then bring your knees in. And give yourself a little hug. Reset, catch your breath. Lower your feet down behind your hips at a comfortable space. So they don't have to be super close to your hips. They don't have to be super far away. Find that spot where they're comfortable. We're going to move into rolling bridges. So tucking your shoulders in underneath you. You can press into the feet if you want to lift your toes, Barbie feet. That makes your legs a little more active. We're going to inhale as we lift up and exhale as we lower. Inhale, lifting the hips. Exhale, lowering the hips. So starting to make this more and more active. So pressing into the feet, activating the back of the legs and the glutes, and then activating the stomach as well. Finding as many muscles as you can to fire up and use. And then bring the hips up and hold. Get really strong and stable. So you want to keep these hips nice and stable. Squeeze, and then see if you can lift and hover the right heel. So now this left glute is going to fire up a little more. We're going to pulse the hip up and down. Small movement, little tiny movement. Right leg stays active. Squeezing that right leg. Lower the right foot slowly. Reset, squeeze. And then lift the left heel, and we're going to pulse the right hip up and down. Lower that left heel, slowly lower the glutes, slowly lower the hips. Take a little soft wiggle of the knees and the hips. Reset. We're going to take the heels a little bit further away from the glutes. You're going to push the heels down into the ground. We're going to lift up and hold the hips. Now we're going to pull the heels towards us without letting them move. So see if you can pull them tight, fire up. And then we're going to pulse this. So lifting the hips and down, little movements while really pulling the heels towards you. You should feel the hamstrings fire up. Feel the backs of your legs nice and strong. This should be pretty challenging. And then lower the hips. Take a little wiggle to reset. Now we're going to bring the heels a little bit further away again from the glutes. Press down into the heels. Pull the heels back towards you. So really feel like you're pulling the heels towards you without letting them move. Then lift up, pull some more so the back of the legs are nice and active. Hold and then little pulses of the hips. Really trying to pull the heels towards you. Want your back of your legs doing a lot of work here. Breathing as you're lifting. And then lower the hips and take a little side sway with the knees and the hips to reset. Bring the knees in. Give yourself a little hug. And then we're going to roll on over to a side and come on up to a seat. Find yourself in an easy seat position. You can get nice and tall in the spine. So thinking about getting longer and longer and longer in the spine, as if somebody grabbed your head and pulled you taller. We're just going to walk through the shoulders. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms down. Moving and breathing, warming through the arms. This time, inhale up, exhale, draw down. So active arms. Inhale up, exhale, pulling, 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 pulling. And pull the arms down and hold. Lift the palms to the ceiling. We're going to inhale, squeeze a little tighter. Exhale, push away. Inhale, squeeze the elbows in towards each other. Exhale, push the arms away. So trying to find muscles in the front of the shoulders, behind the shoulder blades, in the arms. We're not just moving in space, we're really trying to find our muscles, breathing. And bring that down and take nice slow shoulder rolls. Really, really, really slow. And then roll your shoulders all the way forward, as far forward as they can come. So try not to take this into the spine, just the shoulders. Bring your shoulders up, up, up. We're moving about an inch at a time, moving them all the way up, 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 up as far as they go. Now we're going to squeeze the shoulders behind us with them up. So squeezing, 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 and you should find some muscles in between the shoulders where this feels a little challenging. Notice your holding patterns. You might be using your lower back, you might be squeezing somewhere else to try and help this movement. Take your shoulder blades down a little behind you, so tiny movement, squeezing in between the shoulders still. Squeeze down a little more. Squeeze down a little more. And then a little more. And then complete the circle and take a nice slow circle. Couple of circles, nice and slow. We're going to plant the left hand and bring the right hand up and over. So land that left hand on the ground and push the right rib cage, far right as it will go, opening it up. This right arm can be over the head, it can be behind the head, it can be bent or straight. Imagine sending your breath more into the right rib cage. And this hand is not on the head, it's behind the head. We're going to bend the arm, we're going to draw that elbow down and then back up. So now we're working through the shoulder, trying to keep everything else still. Trying to find some muscles in and around the shoulder. And then we reach the right arm up over the head. We're going to squeeze in the core. We're going to take the right elbow to right shoulder to the left knee. So little small twist. Squeeze and pulse. So trying to find some muscles in the lower core here. Squeeze and pulse. And then bring that all the way back up. Take a shoulder roll and feel left and right shoulders. You should feel different. Plant the right hand, bring the left hand up and over. Press that left rib cage open, breathe. And then bringing this left hand behind the head, not on it. Bring the left elbow down and up. And then bring the left arm up overhead, squeezing the core. So you're bringing the stomach really tight towards the spine. Left armpit is going to come towards right knee. And then little pulses, squeeze. And bring it all the way back to center. And take another reverse shoulder roll. Get nice and comfortable. Tall in the spine again. Take the chin all the way down to the chest and feel the tension in the neck. Feel where you're feeling the holding patterns in your neck. So what makes your neck stop where it does? And then as slow as you can, as if you're trying to feel every point of the circle, take your head in a very slow circle, feeling every single point of the circle, feeling the holding patterns in your neck. And when your chin comes back down to center, reverse your circle. Bring your chin back up to neutral. And we'll just take a little bit of movement with the neck. So inhaling center, exhaling, turning the chin, Inhale, center. Exhale, turn. Trying to keep this movement as a breath meditation. Breathing, moving, connecting your body to breath and movement. Bring it back to center. And we're going to come on over to tabletop. So get set up in tabletop. Find a place. Place your hands where your wrists are super comfortable. Make your knees comfortable. Find a connection with your feet on the ground. So either pressing the balls of your feet down or tucking your toes, either one. Find your hands on the ground and we're going to move and breathe here. Inhaling in a tabletop, exhaling back, sending our hips back towards child. Inhaling forward and exhaling backwards. And you can start to connect from the fingertips to the toes, thinking about our spine. And again, connecting breath with movement. Tuning in into your own body. What's happening? What are you feeling? And then we're going to come all the way through tabletop and down to our stomachs, crocodile pose. One hand on top of another, forehead down. Shimmy the hips and loosen the back. And what can you let go of in this pose? Surrender into the ground. From this pose, we're going to take our left hand long from the shoulder, so reach it as far away from you as you can. Take your right leg and squeeze it a little longer, get it strong and active, and then lift the right leg and the left hand. So imagine someone's pulling you from the fingers and pulling you from the toes, making you longer. Breathe. And then let that go. Return the left hand under the forehead. Take the right hand out long from the shoulder. Make it really long. Make the left leg long and strong, and then lift both the left leg and the right arm. Let that go. Return the hand underneath the forehead. Now we're going to take both legs up. So squeezing the core, squeezing the stomach as well as the glutes. Lift both legs up. See if you can get both legs strong, the whole leg strong. Lift and hold, and then lift a little higher and pulse your legs up. Lifting and pulsing. There is no wrong. So pulsing the legs, then lift and take the legs wide and in. So strong legs, every muscle in the leg active and strong, not just throwing our legs around. And then lower the legs and shimmy the hips to let the back go. We're going to start to work the upper back. So thinking about lifting the shoulders, you can bring the hands to wherever your arms are comfortable. We're going to inhale up and exhale down. So inhale, lift, exhale down. The hands are not helping, they're just there. They can also just hover. You can also bring them into the game, pulling the elbows back behind you. Inhale up and exhale down. Trying to find even use. So you want to use the upper back, the middle back, the lower back, the glutes, and the legs can even be strong and active. You can try pressing the tops of your feet into the ground or even lifting the feet as well. Thinking about getting up and longer rather than up and archy. You want to get long, more muscle use, more muscle engagement. And then bring it back to crocodile. Shimmy the hips and loosen. Let go. We're going to move core to back. We're going to think about the torso muscle. We're going to work this back and then work the stomach. So bringing our toes tucked. Pressing our toes into the ground, squeeze the stomach so the pelvis lifts off the ground. We're going to bring our forearms down, and then we're going to press our hands into the ground and lift the core up. So lifting the core, arms are active, and you may even be able to lift the knees up off the ground. Breathe and hold. Squeeze the stomach a little more. Pull the stomach towards the spine. Press the hands into the ground. Feel like you're trying to grip your mat hard with your arms. Make your shoulders a little more active. Breathe. And then lower down. And as soon as you get to the ground, lift and hover arms and shoulders using the back. Breathe. Tuck the toes, place the forearms down, lift the pelvis, squeeze the core, lift on up, and then maybe even lift the knees. Forearm plank, breathe and hold. Squeeze the arms into the ground a little more. Activate the shoulders a little more. Lower the hips nice and slow. Down to reset and then straight up. Lift the arms and the shoulders and the feet. Activate the back. Breathe. Forearms down, tuck the toes, squeeze the core, lift the pelvis, rise up to forearm plank, breathe and hold. Lower the knees all the way down and then straight up, use the back, lift the arms and the shoulders, breathe. And then one more time, forearm plank. Place the forearms down, active and strong. Tuck the toes, lift the pelvis, straight to forearm. Breathe and hold. Lower the knees. And we're going to work this forearm position. So feel like you're pressing your hands into the ground and then try to pull them apart. Arms are nice and strong, shoulders are strong. Bring the stomach tightly towards the spine and move forward into the shoulders and then all the way back, bringing the armpits towards the ground. Coming forward and exhale all the way down. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Everything is active. We're trying to be strong in the shoulders. Finding muscles in the shoulders. We're not just moving around, flopping around the shoulders. And then lower the armpits towards the ground, puppy pose. And you can lower this down and just take it passive, or you can keep it active, still trying to pull the mat actively apart with your arm. Nice pose. Come on up to tabletop. This time we're going to take our arms wider, about mat width apart. We're going to squeeze the core. We're going to move forward on our shoulders nice and slow. Arms are active. We're pulling the mat apart with our arms. We're going to come forward, very slowly bending into the arms. Find that place where you're super strong. So we want to find that place where we're challenged, but we're not weak and bowing into the lower back or in between the shoulders. Find that place where you're strong, and then take little small pulses here. And if you're super strong, and this is not challenging enough, you're gonna lift your knees and take little pulses here. As long as you're not bowing, always looking for weakness and bowing. You need to be able to be strong. And then lower the knees, send the hips back, child's pose. And come forward to tabletop. We're going to place the left hand down on the ground, nice and strong in this arm. So we're really pulling the arm up out of the ground. And take the right hand and thread it through. So what we're going to do is take this right shoulder towards the left elbow and then back up. So we're moving through range of motion on this left shoulder, but we are not flopping through it. So we want to be very, very strong. Pushing through and then pulling up. Squeezing the stomach, you might be able to start to find some stomach muscles in this movement. If you like, you can also press down into the knees and feel like you're pulling the knees apart, locking the back of your legs and your glutes. And then lower that right hand down. Get really strong in that right arm, and we're going to take the left hand through and thread it. Really thinking about bringing the left shoulder to the right elbow and then back. Threading the arm through nice and slow and controlled. Careful with the movement in the shoulder. And then bring that back down. We're going to tuck our toes and go up to our first down dog. So lifting the hips up out of the ground, squeezing your muscles, lifting high out of the ground, and catching your breath with your head below your heart, turning your world upside down. You can take some movements in the legs, bending and straightening the legs. Keeping the weight even on the hands. Inhale, slowly lift the right leg all the way up to the ceiling, three-legged dog. Lift and hold. And then take a really slow circle with this right leg, as slow as you can. Feeling every point of the circle, squeezing this right leg, squeezing the right hip. And then when you complete the circle, bring it back the other way. And then bend the knee and bring that knee behind the right wrist. Lower the foot down, low lunge. So setting up in your low lunge, finding some movement. Moving through the leg. This is where it's handy to have the chair. And bring your hands up to the chair. We're going to work through the feet and the legs. So holding on to the chair, you're going to press a lot of weight down into this right foot. We're going to really be strong in the whole leg and the hip. We're going to make the knee move by changing the weight in our foot. So bring the weight of your body into in front of the ball of the right foot. And then take it all the way over to the edge of the right foot. Let that knee wander around in a circle. Bring the weight into the back heel and then around onto the outer edge. Taking a big circle with the weight of your body on that front leg. Letting your knee kind of follow the movement as it does naturally. Squeezing the leg. Take your butt circle in the other direction. Reverse the circle. And then bring this right leg towards straight. So sending the knee back, maybe even lifting the toes. Finding the back of the right leg. Placing the foot back down. Low lunge. Bend into the back leg. And inhale, rise all the way up to high lunge. So find a little bounce. Find a little movement. Find the high lunge that works for you. You might need to adjust this back foot. We're going to get really strong and balanced. You're going to lift up. We're going to bend that back leg and bring it to a hover. So we're going to inhale as we rise up and exhale as we lower. You can stay with this, or if you'd like to add the arms in, we're going to inhale, lift, exhale, bring the arms in. See if you can make that right leg a little more strong and active, right hip strong, squeeze the core, find your glutes, press into the ball of the left foot. Reach up tall in your high lunge. We're going to start to move into balancing. So squeezing all of the legs, all of the core. We're going to slowly come forward and pop up that left leg and then lower it. Slowly forward, pop. Squeeze the core, bring your arms up, make this more challenging. And lower. And up. And lower. And this time we're coming down. Find your chair. So squeeze it up, hover, and then bring your hands down and balance. Warrior 3, get that back leg nice and strong and active. So using your hands to balance, you're going to bring the right foot onto the ball of the foot nice and slow. So nice and slow, lift, and then lower. Back leg stays strong. Bend into the right knee, bend into that back leg, and we're going to take little tiny half squats. And if you want to challenge your balance, you're going to start to try and do this without the chair. Hold on to the chair. Lower that left leg down behind the right leg. Bring the right leg so that you can press the heel into the ground on an angle. You want to feel a stretch or warmth on the outer right hip. So you might need to move that leg around. And bring both feet under your hips, pedal it out. Bring feet hip width apart. Mat width apart. We're going to press our feet into the ground. So now our legs are nice and strong. Feel like you're trying to pull the mat apart, really strong in the leg. You can hold on to your chair. We're going to take the hips side to side. So just moving through the hips with the legs really strong. Really small movement. You should feel it in the hips and the inner thighs, on the outsides of the legs. Nice and slow movement. And then come all the way down, bending that right leg. Slowly back through, all the way down, bending the left leg. Really trying to feel like you're ripping the mat apart as you're doing this. Legs are really, really, really strong. And then bring them feet back, hip width apart. We're going to land on this right leg. Feel free to keep using your chair. Otherwise, you're going to start to try and challenge your balance. You're going to bring your left foot to a hover. Knees are even. And then we're going to send it all the way back for warrior three. Are you doing it? All the way back for warrior three. Maybe even hover our warrior three. Get longer in the spine. Breathe. Bend the right leg. Lower the left leg down nice and slow. We're back to our high lunge. Breathe. Get a little taller. We're going to frame out the front foot. Press our hands onto the ground. Lift that right knee up and send it all the way back. Warrior three-legged dog. And then lower the foot, pedal it out. Yeah. Wow. It's a warrior dog. And then lower the knees and find a child's pose and reset. We only worked one side, so it's a great time to really check in and see how your body's feeling left and right side. See if anything's different. And then pressing into the hands, tuck the toes. Lift the hips up and back, down dog. Breathe in your down dog. Slowly take an inhale as you lift the left leg nice and high, three-legged dog. And then take a really slow circle with that leg. Squeezed tight. The whole leg is strong and active. The hip is strong and squeezed. Squeeze the glute. And then reverse your circle. Nice and slow. I'm going to bend the knee, bring the left knee towards the left elbow, squeeze the core, lower the left foot down, low lunge. Set up in your low lunge and take some movement through the legs. You can come on up to your chair for this too. And then we're gonna hold on to the chair. Stand that left leg towards straight, lift toes, feel the back of the leg. Feel like you're pushing into the heel and then pulling away from the heel at the same time. See if that fires up some more muscle in the back. And then lower the left foot. We're going to work through a circle on the left foot. Press in underneath the big toe on the ball of the foot. Then take the weight around the ball of that foot onto the outer edge of the left foot. Out onto the heel of the left foot, round onto the inner edge of the left foot. Letting the knee move. Squeezing the leg. And take the circle in the opposite direction. And then land on that left foot. Bend in the back leg. Inhale, rise up to a high lunge. Take a little bounce and reset. Find your position that works for you. Maybe move the back foot in a little bit, really stable, so you can squeeze the hips, squeeze the legs, squeeze the stomach, get really tall. Reach up out of the ground. So yoga is so often all about these opposites, these sensations of opposites, pushing down into the ground and then pulling up out of the ground. You're going to squeeze, lower the left, right knee towards the ground. So we're going to inhale as we lift and exhale as we lower. Staying with this with our arms, or we can bring our arms into play. Inhale up and exhale lower. And get really tall, really strong in our high lunge. We're going to squeeze and pull ourselves forward on that left leg and pop up the right. Squeeze and pop. Nice and strong, slow and controlled. Squeeze, lift. Squeeze and lift. And then all the way over to your warrior three. Holding onto your chair, we're going to releve on this front foot. So lifting the heel and lower. Back leg is still strong and active. And then bending, lowering the heel, bending in the left leg, bending in the right leg. Legs are still strong. We're And take little tiny half squats. We're going to do this with the chair or balancing and challenging. Tuck the right foot behind the left and find the angle of the left leg where you feel nice movement, warmth on the outside of that left hip. And bring that feet back underneath the hips, pedal it out. Take a deep inhale, rise all the way up, bring our prayer overhead and bring it down to our heart, settling mountain. So land in your mountain pose. Try to soften. And even close your eyes and really land in this pose. See if you can find all the little micro adjustments that happen as we stand on our own 2 feet. Soften around the knees. Soften the shoulders. Soften the face. Land in the right now. Maybe trying to keep your eyes. Take a couple of rounds with your own breath pace. Inhaling, scooping in fresh. Exhaling, bringing it down to our heart. Coming down to our heart and hold. And checking in again. Noticing how you feel. And we're going to open our eyes. Inhale all the way up. This time we're going to swan dive down to the ground. Touch the ground, step the right foot back and the left foot back. Hold in a high plank. So find a high plank that's working for you today. Hands can be wide or closer together. Get nice and long and strong. Lift your stomach towards your spine. And activate the arms and the chest. Breathe and challenge. And then lower the knees and find a child's pose. Find a reset. Surrender into the ground. Release. Control. Slowly bring the upper body up. Swing over to a hip. And take the feet out. Take the feet out, bring the soles of the feet together. And take a little squeeze of the knees down towards the ground. So pull your own knees down towards the ground. Little butterfly kicks. And take your legs wide. Press your heels into the ground. You're going to look at your left leg, turn to face it. Squeeze the leg. Get really tall. Take your right hand and take it across the left leg. So once you get here, maybe coming down a little bit further, play with where you're comfortable. We want to feel like we're opening up the right side of the body. So now we're going to start to bring the chest towards that left leg. You want to feel an opening across this lower right side over the hip. You can rest the head onto the arm. Slowly peel out of this. We're going to turn and look at the right leg. Take the left leg up. Cross it over the left. Once you find the position where you're comfortable, you're going to start to pull that left shoulder over towards the right knee, opening up across the left side of the hip. And then you're going to bring the right shoulder as if it's coming down towards that right knee. And find the position where you're really opening across the lower back here, but not feeling any tweaks or pinches in the spine. And slowly unwind. And you come on down to your back. So you want to have your chair handy. If you have blankets or anything, make sure you have those handy too. We're coming on down to our backs. We're eventually going to have our feet on the chair like we do in the classroom. So have your chair handy. Then down to your back. Bring your knees in. And give yourself a little hug. Take your knees and make a nice wide circle. So take your knees out wide and then slowly in towards each other. Think about circles and hips. Take the right knee, cross the right knee over the left. Bring the knees in towards the chest. Feel like you're pulling opposite heel to opposite shoulder. Flex the feet and make the legs strong. You should start to feel this in the piriformis on the right side. Breathe and hold. Slowly unwind. Take the left knee over the right. Bring the knees in towards the chest and flex the feet. Looking for the piriformis on the left side this time. And slowly unwinding. You're going to take your feet like they're stepping on the ceiling. You can grab shins or outer edges of your feet. Happy baby. You can rock this. That's good. You can also play with straightening and bending your legs, feeling your legs. And then take the feet up to the ceiling, wiggle the toes. Do some ankle circles, you can play in flexed feet, just do what feels good. Feeling your legs, feet above the heart. Starting to release your shoulders into the ground. And checking in, noticing how your physical body feels from the start of practice. And then we're going to lower our feet onto the chair. So you might want to scooch down wherever your chair is at. I know a lot of you have longer legs than I do. So you want to have your knees on the chair. This is a restorative pose. So designed to get blood flow coming down from the legs, easily back to the heart. But also, this pose is about landing our hips on the ground. Landing our base on the ground. Try not to flatten your lower back to the ground. So this is flattening my lower back. This is allowing my sacrum to land naturally, and the natural curve of my lower back is there. You are not in a studio, so you get to take up as much space as you like. So if it's comfortable for you, open your arms out wide as they can go. Allow your shoulders to really find the ground. Take a little wiggle of your head. Take some tension out of your neck. Take your chin a little more to the ceiling. Oftentimes when we have this flat surface underneath us, we're so tempted to force our back and force our neck down towards the ground. Try not to do that. Try to let your natural curve of your neck return. And for some people, it's even comfortable to bring something in underneath their neck and place it here. You can have a little pillow. Once you arrive in this position, we're going to do a meditation thinking about our base. So really loosening and softening into our base, letting go around our hips. So we're going to start at the soles of our feet. And Kaylee's going to stay where she is, and I'm going to sit up so I can talk you through it. So we're going to begin at the soles of our feet. And you're going to imagine there are little balls of energy at the soles of your feet, as if somebody just came and placed their hands on your feet, and their hands are nice and warm. Or if you're feeling like you're particularly inflamed, feel free to imagine their hands are cool and you need some cooling energy. So find which temperature works for you. Bring your little balls to the soles of your feet. And you're going to imagine that these balls of energy could gently, slowly sweep away tension from the soles of your feet. So little circular, moving, energetic balls. And you're slowly sweeping away tension and things no longer needed. As if these little balls of energy placed here could undo every step that you ever took. And leave you with little squishy, soft feet. And then slowly imagine drawing these balls of energy up into your ankles. Maybe these balls of energy have a color that helps you think and focus on them. Or maybe you're just focusing on the temperature. And imagine you could sweep away all the tension around your ankles, undoing every step you ever took. And slowly draw these balls of energy up your legs and rest them in your knees. Imagine you could sweep away tension and inflammation, many holding patterns around the kneecap. behind the kneecap, right inside the joint. And then on the back of the knee, the skin on the back of the knee. And then thinking about the big bone in our thigh, imagine you could circle around this bone, sweeping away any tension in your thigh, slowly up your thigh on both sides. And then landing in the hip, right in the joint of the hip. Imagine these little balls of energy that slowly and gently sweep away any tension or holding patterns in the hip, right in the joint. And slowly these balls of energy sweeping tension from the lower torso, right across the front of the hips. Allowing your pelvic bone, your pelvic bowl, this big heavy bone at the end of your spine, to land fully and completely in the ground. All of the muscles are now soft. All the muscles that connect to our thighs, our fight or flight muscles, they're all soft. Swept free of tension, holding patterns. And then imagine your little balls of energy are going to join into one ball of energy, and beginning at your tailbone. You're slowly going to wind up your spine. This ball of energy circling around and loosening holding patterns and bringing in fresh energy. As if each vertebrae could have a little more space as it slowly works its way up your spine. As if it could undo the effect of gravity and time. Undo all the times we sat on the couch in a funny position. One by one. Gently touching each vertebrae, making more space, sweeping away tension, breathing in fresh. And then landing right at the base of the skull. Riding in another heavy bone at the other end of our spine. And right here is such a common place of holding patterns and tension. Fight this mind-body connection right here, at the connection of our brain to our spinal cord. So imagine a ball of energy resting here gently and kindly, sweeping away tension, sweeping away holding patterns. And imagine the flow of energy in our spinal highway from our brain down our spinal cord and throughout the body. It's moving a little more freely. And then see if you can land right in the very center point of the mind. As if you just followed the spinal cord up and landed right in the center of the brain. Allowing space for whatever is present here to be present here. Meditation is not about clearing the mind or emptying the mind, but allowing the mind to do as it does. And allowing your truest self, your deepest layer, to be less tied up in it. allowing the mind to be as it is, but understanding that you're something more than just those thoughts. And resting here with a little kindness, without judgment, and taking a few moments in this space to get to know yourself. And I'm going to read from Your True Home. When the mind is elsewhere. In our daily life, we lose ourselves all the time. The body is here, but our mind is somewhere else. In the past, in the future, carried away by anger, jealousy, fear, and so on. The mind is not really present with the body. We are not really here. To be truly here, we have to bring the body back to the mind, and the mind back to the body. We have to bring about what is called the unity of body and mind. This is very important in Buddhist meditation. Often the body and the mind go in different directions, so we are not fully here. Therefore, we have to do what is necessary for them to come back together again. Now it is about the end of our session. Feel free to stay in this position if this is calming and you're in a good place. Feel free to take more time just to be in the here and now with yourself. Just making sure that when you end this practice, you roll on over to your side in a fetal position. You take a few moments in fetal position to really connect with that inner self layer, your heart layer, your bliss layer. Connecting with your own inner bliss and then sharing it with the world around you is how we're going to get through this together. So connecting to your heart space. Softening the layers of fear. Softening that heart ball. And then coming on up to a seated position with your hands at prayer and honoring this position, bringing our left and right sides in front of our heart, as if accepting ourselves as whole and complete. And taking a moment to really accept yourself as whole and complete. Wrapping yourself in some unconditional love. And thank you for sharing space with us today.